James, but this team that they just lost to, the Cleveland Cavaliers, were riding a 12-game losing streak and were just 3-18 on the road this season. We spoke about this being a must-win for the Lakers coming into this one. Has to be a disappointment for them.
Having LeBron James on your team must give you a false sense of security and a false sense of who you really are, because without LeBron, 3-7 now, without LeBron, they play against a Cavalier team who had lost 12 straight games, and they don't start playing until the last 3 minutes of the game, when all of a sudden they looked up and realized, you know what, we're going to lose this game. It's going to be awfully embarrassing. And they had their opportunities at the foul line in the fourth quarter. They just couldn't make free throws.
Chris, you have to be a little nervous, and Coach, you know this, with Utah knocking on your back door. You see Sacramento's playing better basketball. They're starting to believe in themselves as a young team. So you're saying to yourself as a Laker fan, how can we hold down the fort till LeBron gets back? And these are one of those games, Coach, you know that you should win. You have to win so you can believe in that goodwill that you're building up. Because when LeBron comes back, LeBron, to your point, Coach, he's only thinking one thing. Let's rev up and fight for a good playoff spot. Well, right now they're holding on to that 8th spot. Well, before he got hurt, they was at the 4th spot.
You know what happened? He probably got hurt at one of the worst times that it could happen for them, because they had just built up some momentum. They were about 7 games over the 500 mark. They were in 4th place in the Western Conference. So everything was going the right way. They were believing and trusting and listening to what LeBron had to say. He was playing well, even though Rondo went out with the injury. They were in great shape going into the mid-season point, and then LeBron gets hurt, and here they are in this tailspin.
So that's why when you said earlier at the beginning of the show, Ingram, is it Ball? Who is it? Who is that next guy that you can say, this guy, we can ride this hot hand,
18 points
or
in
we
the fourth
can
quarter,
ride
Kyle
his style
Kuzma
of play?
like
The pregame
guy.
show, K.Kuzma had the 42 points the other night, and now he's kind of dipped off a little bit. To Coach's point, that's what lets fans know why certain guys we call great and certain guys he's working to be great, because you have to do it every night.
Yeah, certainly an interesting situation to see what happened with the Lakers. And again, Kyle Kuzma was the one that really stood out in the fourth quarter with those 18 points and finished with the game-high 29. And those were some clutch baskets from him.
There were 2 players on the Lakers that I thought showed emotion. They were playing, and one was Hart and the other was Kuzma, to me. Watching the Lakers walk into their huddles in timeouts was almost like they were bored being there. Or like, do I really have to do this? How much time before it's over? Instead of seeing the kind of fire you want to see from a young group of players. I mean, what are you, tired at 21 years old or 20 years old? Come on.
That's what you left school early for.
So that's the final game of the night. We're going to take you around the NBA's Game Time rolls on. God, welcome to Game Time. The theme this Sunday, players getting to 40 or more. We're not talking about age. We're talking about buckets. We had two guys do it in one game, and a 2-time MVP lead the night in scoring. So let's start with the top seed out west, the Denver Nuggets, starting today just half a game ahead of the Golden State Warriors. And they went to work early and often. Damian Lillard.
Oh, my goodness.
From the logo.
That was from Portland.
Talk about feeling it.
And then Dame, another tough shot, defense smothering. But he got the bucket to go.
Love the concentration right there. Then Denver gets out in transition, and wait a minute. Trail 5 for the 3?
You got to get out there. You can't let them just square up and shoot it. They learned that lesson the hard way. Will Barton made his home debut after missing 38 games with a groin injury, looking healthy.
Oh, is this guy going to help them now? Not that he needed a whole lot of help. They're best record in the Western Conference.
Well, that help also comes in the form of Nikola Jokic nailing threes. Jusuf Nurkic trying to respond on the other end. Those former teammates battling it out, 53-50.
Yeah, you called it, going at one another.
Third quarter, the Joker pulling out the full deck. And then the nice dime.
4-5 pick and roll, and the 5 throws back to the 4?
How about that one?
Oh, my goodness.
Now, 3D, the question about Jokic and whether or not he belongs in the MVP conversation, can you get me a bucket? That's what we've been wondering about him, or his skeptics have said.
Yeah, some people are skeptic, as C.J. McCollum shows how smooth he is with the floater.
But you see that score, 102-102 fourth quarter. it's Jokic again, showing he can get you that clutch basket. You know Damian Lillard can.
Must be fourth quarter.
26 for him. Jokic again. Tie game, minute to go. Mouse in the house.
Mouse in the house. Ask for help. That's okay.
Look, the encouraging thing is he took 23 field goal attempts. That's a lot for him.
And speaking of field goal attempts, it's not over yet. C.J. McCollum nails one. Dame Lillard, they're sending to OT.
Oh! Makes you nervous. Anytime Dame has the ball, we know he has range.
And Jokic
picks up the kids. Loves the kids.
So our first 40-point scorer on the evening, you see Nikola Jokic there, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. In 3D, we saw the full repertoire. We know he's a threat as a triple-double machine, but to see him put up 40, that's been the question about his game. It's there.
The question of his game, does he have the eye of the tiger? Is he ready to go for the juggler, so to speak? Because we know he's a great passer. We know he can shoot the three. We know he can do all those great things, Coach. But you look at this board right here, all the guys that scored 40 points tonight. The reason I want to talk about Jokic because Denver has gone through so much this year with all the injuries, and he's been the mainstay. He's been the guy that we're all saying, how come his name is not mentioned more in the MVP conversation? Maybe it's his personality. It's because he plays out in Denver. But you look at the stat sheet, you look at the standings, Denver's at the top. Now they're starting to get healthy. Now, to your point tonight, Chris, in the fourth quarter, they said, we're going through you, big fella, until they come double team you. To your point, 23 attempts at the basket, not waiting for the defense to see if they would come. So that's why I appreciate his game tonight.
And 4 main three-pointers.
Let's remind our viewers that Jokic and Nurkic were teammates together. And Denver had to make a decision. Which one of them do we want to keep? Because they couldn't give both of them the amount of time that they deserved. So that's how Portland wound up with Nurkic. But kudos to the talent evaluator for Denver staff to come up with those two big guys who were talented and skilled, and both of those teams are winning teams.
And certainly Nurkic, no slouch out there in Portland, holding his weight too. But yeah, the Joker, one of the top-tier players around the league. Speaking of which, LeBron James still sitting out, and his team struggling against his former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jordan Clarkson.
Clarkson said, I know these rims. I started out on these rims, Chris.
15-point Cavs lead. Lonzo Ball nailing the outside shot, cutting that deficit down. And K.Kuzma, he's a guy that can score in different situations. That's a Diesel Dunks nominee.
Yes,
for
I like
sure.
It. Attack the rim.
If someone would have gotten in there, they would have been on a post.
Yes, they would have been a Kuz post.
How about Colin Sexton? Part of a 10-0 Cleveland run. The young Bull gives the Cavs an 8-point lead. It's a 10-point lead now. Woo! Nice moves, come up short.
Tristan Thompson had to clean things up a little bit. And Brandon Inger, are you kidding me, young fella?
Gets Tristan Thompson right back. Then Kuzma. In the fourth quarter,
attack.
He took over. 18 points in the fourth quarter for Kuzma, 29 in the game. Dellavedova to Tristan Thompson. We've seen that before.
Yes, we have.
Alec Burks getting some clutch buckets.
Yes, you got to hustle.
Cleveland.
You love the hustle. It's the hustle you're talking about, Chris. Look at that hustle. Stay with it.
The stick-to-itiveness.
Yes.
Then Colin Sexton.
Oh, Sexton. Oh, I see the shake and bake. Give it to him.
17 points, but we asked the question, can you get me a bucket?
Yes.
Answer is yes there.
Yes, she did.
So Cleveland gets the win 101-95, snapping a 12-game losing streak.
Lakers with some key free throws missed. They had opportunities, and a lot of them in the fourth quarter. They just couldn't get to the line and make free throws.
Certainly, when you lose a 6-point game and you consider it that you missed 9 free throws in the fourth quarter, that's something that